man, I'm not ready for a world champion at his caliber yet. But I don't know. I haven't.
Breaking Jake Paul audio has leaked, and he sounds intimidated by Anthony Joshua. He admits the relentless power and skill of Joshua, and it's obvious he knows he is outmatched. The fear in Jake Paul's voice shows Anthony Joshua's dominance, and why this fight is terrifying for anyone stepping into the ring with him.
It means like, yeah, like the badass or some shit in Spanish. But bro is like so powerful, so skillful. Relentless pressure.
Eddie Hearn makes it clear Anthony Joshua can render Jake Paul unconscious, like he did with Francis Ngannou. Jake Paul is not at that level, and everyone can see the gap in skill and power. Anthony Joshua is on another level, and the pressure on Jake Paul is enormous. Before we throw the next punch, check the description. We care about your men's health, so I added the best testosterone booster deals there with big discounts.
Said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitates a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him, and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou.
In this leaked footage, Jake Paul admits Anthony Joshua looks intense, focused, and locked in. He even notes the size difference, eyes level with Joshua's chest. The audio reveals his nerves and awareness of Joshua's dominance. Fans can sense the fear in Jake Paul as he faces a fighter clearly on another level.
Intense, focused, locked in. He's obviously very, very tall. Looking up, my tallest opponent. My eyes are at his chest.
Eddie Hearn's reaction to Jake Paul's leaked audio shows how clear it is that Paul has no chance against Anthony Joshua. Hearing Paul admit fear and hesitation confirms Hearn's prediction that he will get smashed to pieces. Joshua's experience, knockout power, and Olympic pedigree make this a one-sided scenario. The leaked audio proves Paul knows the danger he's stepping into, and it's impossible for him to hide his panic.
I think he's got absolutely no chance. I think he's going to get smashed to pieces.
The leaked audio makes it obvious Jake Paul is terrified of Anthony Joshua's sheer size and power. Hearing Paul describe Joshua as a monster and admitting fear shows even his friends recognize the difference. Joshua's 265-pound frame combined with Olympic-level technique puts Paul in a league far above him. The panic in Paul's voice proves he's acutely aware that he is stepping into a fight where one mistake could end
AJ versus Jake Paul. Do you see the size difference between and do you see how fucking
He's
huge
a monster,
that guy
bro.
is?
Yeah.
6'6", 265.
That's huge, dude. That gives me so much respect for Paul though, because I was always just like, he's up fighting like all these old people, or Tyson. Yeah. I mean, Tyson's still beast, but this dude's fucking. I know, but still,
this fight as a friend of Jake is like, I'm scared.
Joseph Parker's reaction to Jake Paul's leaked audio captures the reality that Anthony Joshua's punching power is devastating. Paul's own panic is audible as Parker emphasizes that one clean shot and it's over. Joshua's knockout ability is a huge threat, and hearing it described in the audio reinforces how outmatched Paul is. The leaked clips leave no doubt that Paul is facing a man whose power, precision, and experience make survival unlikely if he underestimates Joshua.
Hell, and if he lands on you, you're done. You're out. And I picked against.
Joe Rogan breaks down Anthony Joshua's devastating skill and power perfectly. Watching Joshua dominate Francis Ngannou shows the level he operates at. Joshua's combination speed, knockout ability, and ring IQ are terrifying. Anyone stepping in the ring with him, including Jake Paul, is facing a man whose precision and strength leave opponents overwhelmed within minutes. This fight is about absolute dominance, and Joshua's Olympic pedigree proves he is not just a heavyweight, but a force capable of controlling every round.
What do you think about Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua?
Boy, you're dealing with a guy who's an Olympic gold medalist. He's enormous, and he's got vicious knockout power, and you take a guy who just had a boxing match that looks like a sparring match with 58-year-old Mike Tyson, and then you're gonna fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists in the heavyweight division. Maybe we should watch the Francis Ngannou fight, just so you can see what Anthony Joshua is capable if he's fighting someone that's not in his league. Watch this. So he drops him with a right hand early, and this is 2 minutes into the first round. Francis gets gets up, he survives, and then check out this combination he hits him with. I mean, dude, he probably has no idea where he is.
David Adelaide emphasizes Joshua's underrated power, showing that his opponents constantly misjudge him. Anthony Joshua hits harder than anyone expects and combines it with elite technique. This makes him a nightmare matchup, as the strength of his punches can end fights quickly. The physicality, timing, and precision he possesses create a gap no casual fighter can bridge, reinforcing that this fight heavily favors Joshua's strategy and his ability to dominate every exchange in the ring.
He hits harder than people expect, I think a lot of people, obviously, they pick up on his boxing and how good of a boxer he is, but he hits harder than people expect.
Johnny Nelson points out that Anthony Joshua's preparation and ring intelligence are unmatched. Knowing what is coming and controlling every exchange makes him one of the most dangerous heavyweights in the sport. Joshua's calm under pressure and ability to punish mistakes ensure that even well-prepared opponents feel overwhelmed. His combination of timing, power, and tactical awareness makes him a force that few can challenge successfully in the heavyweight division.
God help Jake Paul, that's all I can say. We saw that what Anthony Joshua had done to Francis Ngannou. He went out there and iced him in a couple of rounds. A guy coming from a different discipline. Well, this kid's coming from another level. You know, white-collar boxing in 2018, gone through the mill, and the only boxer really that he's actually boxed, a legitimate boxer he got beat by, and that was in Tommy Fury.
Benavidez Sr. points out that Jake Paul stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua is already a dangerous gamble. Joshua's skill, power, and experience far exceed anything Paul has faced. Even considering the possibility of an upset, the reality is that Joshua's precision, tactical awareness, and knockout ability make him overwhelmingly superior. Every punch he throws carries weight, and his ability to control range and tempo ensures that Jake Paul is fighting from a position of constant disadvantage. Joshua's experience against world-class opponents guarantees that he can exploit any opening instantly, leaving Paul scrambling.
You know, don't count him out. You know, I think that's a very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, you know, we could have a big upset, you know, but...
Duke McKenzie emphasizes the mismatch in professional experience. Anthony Joshua's awareness, timing, and ring IQ make him far too skilled for someone like Jake Paul. Joshua's ability to read opponents, exploit mistakes, and punish miscalculations makes him a constant threat. Paul's lack of elite boxing experience means he will struggle to cope with Joshua's precision and power. Joshua does not underestimate anyone, and his calculated aggression ensures that any perceived weakness will be capitalized on immediately. Facing a man of Joshua's caliber is not just about toughness, but surviving against a seasoned, dominant heavyweight.
I don't think Anthony Joshua would take Jake Paul lightly any way, shape or form, and it'd be so easy to hit. You're talking about a trained athlete.
John Fury's blunt statement underlines the enormous gap in skill, strength, and dominance. Anthony Joshua has the ability to end fights in moments due to his power, technique, and experience. Anyone underestimating him is asking for disaster. Jake Paul faces a challenge far beyond his previous opponents, and Joshua's ability to control the ring and deliver devastating combinations makes an upset nearly impossible. Fury's hyperbolic comment captures the truth that Joshua is on a completely different level, and Paul's confidence and bravado mean little when faced with a heavyweight of Olympic pedigree and world-class knockout power.
Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his dick. So if it goes any other way, you know.
Derek Chisora stresses the importance of Joshua finishing fights efficiently and decisively. Anthony Joshua has consistently demonstrated his ability to dominate early rounds and exploit weaknesses immediately. His speed, power, and ring intelligence ensure that he can overwhelm opponents who cannot maintain a high pace or defend effectively. The reference to Francis Ngannou highlights Joshua's capacity to control elite athletes and end fights in short order. Any fighter stepping into the ring with Joshua faces enormous pressure to survive, and the likelihood of going deep into the fight against a man of Joshua's caliber is extremely slim.
Everybody's gonna be having a go at you because you can't go past 5 rounds with this kid. He has to go past 1 round or 2 rounds. Past beyond 4 or 5 rounds, you know, people are gonna be doubting you as a fighter himself. So he has to smoke him out like what he did Francis Ngannou in Saudi Arabia in 1 round.
Carl Frosch makes it clear that the gap between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul is monumental. Joshua's power, experience, and technical ability dwarf anything Paul has faced. Losing to a cruiserweight like Tommy Fury exposes Paul's limitations, and stepping into the heavyweight ring with Joshua is a fight far beyond his competence. Joshua's size, punching power, and precision ensure that he dominates exchanges. Every professional step he takes is calculated and lethal, leaving Paul vulnerable at every opportunity. The reality is that Joshua is on an entirely different level, and any expectations of a close fight are unrealistic.
AJ's a big punching heavyweight, and Fake Paul's never been in with a heavyweight. Like I said earlier, he lost to Tommy Fury, a cruiserweight. He lost to him. Tommy Fury's not even British level. So you can't chuck Fake Paul in with Anthony Joshua and take it serious. Why?
David Haye highlights the razor-sharp focus required to face Anthony Joshua. Every punch must land with precision because Joshua's skill and power allow him to punish even minor mistakes instantly. Jake Paul cannot rely on luck or hype, and Haye points out the necessity of motivation and peak performance. Joshua's ability to read opponents, control the ring, and switch tactics mid-fight leaves little room for error. Paul's previous performances against less skilled opposition are no preparation for Joshua. A single lapse could end the fight. Joshua's experience ensures that any hesitation or lack of sharpness is exploited immediately, making him the overwhelming favorite in this contest.
Anthony Joshua won. Anthony killed this guy. Anthony Joshua is Olympic champion. First. Jake Paul, it's sportsman, YouTuber, showman. Rolls Royce.
Adam Smith points out the immense control Anthony Joshua holds in the ring, highlighting that Joshua can dictate the pace and outcome of the fight. Even with a 14-month inactivity, his timing, strength, and technical skill are unmatched by Jake Paul. Joshua has the ability to finish fights whenever he chooses and can manage the rounds to maximize his dominance. Paul faces a man who has faced world-class opposition and can switch tactics seamlessly. The concern is not whether Joshua can win, but whether he wants to assert his dominance early. Joshua's experience and power make him a constant threat from the opening bell.
I actually believe he's better than what people think he is.
He is better than people think he is, but doesn't mean you can take on the former unified heavyweight champion of the world. I know some white collar fighters who are really good, but you ain't getting in with me, and I'm 42. I'll take your whiskers off you.
Don Charles highlights Anthony Joshua's extraordinary attributes that make him an elite heavyweight. Joshua combines punching power, physicality, and experience at the highest level, creating a package that is unmatched in this matchup. Jake Paul has no comparable experience or skill and will be tested in every exchange. Joshua's precision, timing, and ability to control range allow him to dictate the fight, while Paul struggles to cope with elite-level boxing. Every punch from Joshua carries both authority and strategy, leaving Paul with minimal room for defense or counterattack. Joshua's professionalism and world-class preparation make him the overwhelming favorite, and his positives ensure he remains untouchable against a YouTuber stepping into the ring.
They look at all the positives of Anthony Joshua. He has loads of positives. His punching power, his physicality, his experience at this level.
Anthony Joshua enters this fight as a complete heavyweight champion whose combination of skill, power, and experience leaves Jake Paul exposed from the first bell. Every punch Joshua throws is calculated, precise, and capable of ending the contest instantly, while Paul is forced to rely on hype and past performances against far weaker opposition. Joshua's Olympic pedigree, world-class preparation, and ring intelligence make him a nightmare matchup for anyone, let alone a YouTuber stepping into the professional arena. Mentally and physically, Joshua is on another level, ready to control the pace, exploit every opening, and assert his dominance throughout the fight. Jake Paul's bravado and confidence are no match for a fighter of this caliber, and any mistake could end the fight quickly. Fans should expect Joshua to demonstrate his full arsenal and remind the world why he is one of the elite heavyweights. Are you backing Anthony Joshua to destroy Jake Paul, or is Jake Paul pulling an impossible upset? Drop your thoughts below and join the debate.